feel like it.
I'll do one more on abortion. I didn't really like that one. Wasn't a really good question. Wasn't a real good question. All right. Gotta be extra again. Alafia. Let me stop. Okay. Suck pussy! Suck pussy, or whatever the Haitians say. Welcome to Sophisticated Sunday. Bonjour if it's in the morning, or bonsoir if it's at night. I'm going to be your reader for today, Nexo, and you're tuned into another episode of Sophisticated Sunday. I'm going to be using my bone reading board to read about abortions today. Okay, so I know a lot of you all out there have had an abortion, or you've paid for an abortion, and that's okay. Everybody's done it. People gonna continue doing it. Ain't nobody here to judge. But some of you all want to know about the spiritual consequences of having an abortion. Now, I want to talk about that. And we're going to use my specially designed Animal Kingdom board to read about the consequences of the spirit. What are the spiritual consequences of an abortion? And we're going to relate this question in particular to women. But if there's something that comes up for me, and I'll make sure to distinguish the message between the two as it relates. But what are the spiritual consequences of women having abortions? Okay, most shit fell out on the side of what we don't know. Okay. So what we do know about the spiritual consequences of having an abortion, there's a dime over the lion's family. So this is saying that what we do know is that there's a very high chance or a high percentage that you will not be able to have a family in the future due to you having this abortion. It would be a punishment. The spirits would be angry, fire mad with you for having this abortion, because they're saying to you that bringing life into this world is an incredibly significant experience. Not only that, I'm hearing that the value is, again, there's no judgment being passed, but you have to accept the consequences that a spirit was supposed to come through your body, and now the spirit has to find another means to do so. So that spirit may manifest as a student that you will teach. That student may that entity or that spirit may manifest as you may end up in a relationship with another guy that has a very, very young child, and you are responsible for raising that child as a step parent. So the other thing that I'm saying here is that they're saying that abortions are not a part of ancient African practices in the way that we know them to be. They're actually saying that abortion in ancient times, abortions were something that were done in private and kept secret from people, and the purposes of which is because people, I'm saying here in my vision that in ancient times you had to be careful that people may steal steal the skeletal remains of a dead fetus or a dead infant, and then they do spiritual work to control your family and steal all of their wealth or their money. What's also indicated from this particular board of things that we do know is that they're saying that you're going to basically, once you've had an abortion, your future generations of children are going to be a lot less creative. They will also have mental disabilities as well. They will be shy. and unwilling to speak up for themselves at times, and this would be a consequence as well. I'm also saying here that if you have issues attracting a lover, a masculine lover in your life, or your because it's a close calorie and the probability of luck falling over the man, they're saying it's a high chance that you're going to get a man that dissipates or typically disappears in relationships. They're also saying that another spiritual consequence of abortion is that it inhibits you from reproducing in the future, or it makes it difficult for you to reproduce more children in the future, as indicated by a closed calorie over the hair or the rabbit. Some of the other things that we don't know about abortion that are appearing up on the board that are particularly interesting are that they're okay. This is to the men. They're saying that actually, contrary to what men believe, abortion does not benefit you socially, and is not going to benefit you financially, and it definitely does not benefit your bloodline. If anything, an abortion actually hurts a man's bloodline karmically to a greater degree than a woman's, is indicated by the penny over the treasure chest and the man over the treasure chest. So actually, when a woman has an abortion, she's taken from the man's ancestral treasury, because her body has to go through her physical body already pays for karma, so the man has to pay for karma spiritually. Okay, if that makes any sense. Wow. So the other thing that I'm saying here is that there is the swan there's a genie lamp over the swan. So this is saying that if you have children that are unattractive, or you come from an unattractive family, it's due to abortions in the family. So if you only have one attractive family member, then you know why that is, and you can you're gonna have to blame the men and the women in your family. So that means that if you have unattractive people in your family, that means the men have paid for a lot of abortions for women, or the women have had a lot of abortions. There's an open calorie over the moon. So this is saying that women who have irregular periods, you may have had women in your family that have had abortions, and they're saying that the moon cycles can't properly control or govern your reproductive process as well. There's a protection stone over the squirrel, and they're saying that after you've had the abortion, you're more likely to contract different spiritual diseases that can be transmitted through sex, because a squirrel is always trying to get a nut. There's a typewriter over the squirrel as well. So this is no, this is a typewriter over the woodpecker, the mother over the woodpecker, a closed calorie over the woodpecker. This is saying that basically over my typewriter, on my typewriter token, it says "P.S. I love you," but it's saying that you once you had an abortion, because you have desecrated your female reproductive system, you've also I guess you could say you've damaged your connection to your mother's bloodline. So it's going to be more difficult for you to hear messages from your mother's bloodline, because they're saying that what the spirits are saying is that abortions cause for your womb to malfunction in some way, and your womb is a direct line of communication to your mother's bloodline. It's what helps to distinguish you from the males in your family, and it's also your womb gives you also your womb pretty much, because your womb is a portal to the astral plane. You can pretty much think of it as like your portal is malfunctioning, so the messages that come through are not going to come through as clear. The memory card is over the monkey, and this is saying that this is pretty much saying that, not the spirits will forgive you for aborting, but they won't forget that you've aborted. It's actually going to be etched into the memory of your ancestral DNA. So, for example, if you were born in the back of a taxi, and you didn't know who your mom was, and your mom was a victim of abuse, and she may have died at 3 years old, then you can expect to be the victim of abuse and to have a lot of rushed relationships, or to come into the world feeling like you're fighting for your destiny. And this really happened to someone, Iyanla Van Zant, actually. That's who I'm bringing it up from. Pretty much they're saying that, you know, your ancestors they won't forget the abortions. It's like what that abortion becomes a part of your family's genetic history, and it will continue to affect them in the ways that I've previously described. There is the power token is over the sloth, so you can expect for the power of your ancestors, or the power for your ancestral bloodline, to be slowed down. It's not going to grow as quickly as it needs to. There's a heart and a bottle cap over the tree frog. So they're pretty much saying that the ancestors are saying that even though we love you, but even though you had an abortion, we're sticking to what we're saying, because the tree frog sticks to whatever it holds on to, and the bottle cap means case closed. We love you, but we mean what we said. There's a one of the open roads over the tree frog. So they're saying that they're open to having a conversation with you about this, and they will forgive you for it. They won't forget it, but they're like, after you've done it, you have to accept the spiritual consequences of it. The ancestors token falls over the unicorn. The unicorn represents an animal that has magical abilities, but it doesn't know. But because it's mythical, people don't believe in it. The ancestors token falls over the unicorn, and they're saying that, you know, as someone that's melanated, you will still have a connection to your bloodline. You will still be a magical being. You're just going to have to work harder to overcome the obstacles that are watering down the potency of your magic. There's a bicycle over the koi pond, and a closed cowrie over the koi pond. So you won't. So after having an abortion, they're saying that as far as travels go, it's going to be more difficult for you to travel to. It's going to be more difficult for you to travel geographically. So if you're someone that you're like, hey, I've had an abortion before, but I can't seem to, I want to travel the world, but it's like something is always standing in my way, keeping me from doing that. That is one of the consequences of abortion. I see that, and this is how they're relaying it to me, that the Mercury, the sign of communication, analytics, intelligence, and travel. Basically, when you have an abortion, there's a connection between your womb and your brain. And when you have an abortion, that connection is severed. Therefore, you're not going to be able to travel, to intellectualize, to analyze as much as you should, or as clearly as you would have, had you not had that abortion. Again, you will be forgiven for these things, but because history can't be erased, those things are etched into the memory of your DNA. So with that being said, remember that, the consequences of having an abortion impact men much greater than they do the women. With that being said, I hope that you all are interested in booking a private spiritual reading with me or any of the other readers on our site. Go to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com, and remember, the truth is always collaborative.
So fuel my fire, take me